Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today it's time to go through my unreasonable September TBR. The reason I say my September TBR is absolutely ludicrous is because, well, it is. I currently have stacks of books in front of me that I'm going to show you guys, and that is because I am co-hosting a readathon over at Beatrice's channel, Beatrice Book Nook. I will link the announcement video as well as any information about Beatrice and the co-hosts down below so you guys have all of that information if you are interested in the readathon. It is definitely a competitive readathon, but I do think it's very accessible to mood readers if you guys are so inclined to join. I'm also participating in Series September, which is put on by Krista over at Books and Jams, as well as someone else who I'm not going to remember, but I will post the announcement video down below, as well as the creators and co-hosts and things like that of that readathon too, because it is not competitive. It's just participatory. You just participate. There is a bingo board that you guys can use if you want to, but really all you have to do is read at least one series in the month of September, and then you've participated in Series September. So I'll leave the information for that down below too. The first thing I'm going to go through are the mythology retellings that I am going to read in the month of September, because the Goddess Complex Readathon that I am co-hosting over at Beatrice's channel is based on mythology. It is, we are trying to overthrow Zeus, and if you read retellings or host favorites, you get extra points throughout the competition. So I am trying to play into that a little bit. So I'm gonna go through the mythologies first, and then I also am going to be using manga this month, kind of as, I have a lot of manga that I would like to read, and this readathon is the perfect time to do it because I can definitely load my team up with points with these manga that I do want to get through. So I'll have a section for mythologies, a section for manga and graphic novels, and then I'll also have a section for my other planned reads, and then another section for my series that I'm going to be continuing for Series September. First is one of the host favorites. I believe this is Katie's, one of Katie's host favorites is Olympus. I do have the first 3 volumes of Olympus because I have not actually read any of these, and I am finally excited to get to this. This is a Persephone and Hades retelling, I believe, and I know it's a webcomic, but these editions of these novels are just beautiful, and so I can't wait to dive into these. The next mythology retelling is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, I think is the first book in that series. I also have never read Percy Jackson. I honestly don't even know what it's about. I know I think it's a Greek mythology. If not Greek mythology, it's Roman mythology, but I'm pretty sure it's Greek. And I know it's a dearly beloved like middle grade series. And so I'm finally gonna see what all the hype's about. This is another host pick. It is Julie's, I believe. But if I'm wrong with any of the host picks, I'll also put that up on the screen so you guys can tell whose host pick it is. Next is another host favorite, and that is The Wolf Den. I don't know if this is actually a mythology retelling, but it is a host pick, so it will count for extra points. I just might not get the 100 extra points. I might just get the 50 if it's just a host pick and not a mythology retelling. This story is set in Pompeii. You follow a girl, I'm not sure how old she is, but her father ends up passing away, and it leaves her and her mother destitute, and she ends up having to, she gets sold into a brothel and has to figure out how to live, and I'm not really sure where the storyline goes from there. I am intrigued because it is set in Pompeii. It doesn't sound like a mythology retelling. I just know the cover has like columns and stuff in it, and so I put it in this category just in case. This is Laura's host pick, if I didn't already say. The last host pick I have for this is Wicked Fox. This is another one that I'm not sure if this is a mythology retelling or if it's just going to count for the host pick, but it does follow the myth of, I can't remember what they're called, but they're goddesses of the night. They feed on men. They're like 9-tailed foxes, and it is YA, and it's YA romance. You have one of these 9-tailed fox goddesses who is out for a hunt one night, witnesses a boy being attacked by a goblin, I think is what the synopsis said, and she decides to step in and save him. But in the process of saving him, she loses something really dear to her, and he ends up figuring out what she is, and the story commences from there. So I don't know, it sounds really intriguing. This is Beatrice's host favorite, so I'm really interested in this. I know it's YA. YA isn't always my thing, but it does sound, it sounds fun. Next is The Goddess of the River. This is by Vaishnavi Patel, who wrote Kakai, which is one of my host favorites, and that is an Indian mythology. This is also an Indian mythology. It says a powerful and deeply moving reimagining of the story of Ganga, the goddess of the river, and her mortal son. This is a masterful tale of duty, destiny, and the unwavering bond between mother and child. I can't wait to get to this one. I can't wait to get back into a world created by this author because I absolutely adored Kakai. The next retelling is Masquerade. This is an African mythology, and the synopsis says it's set in the wonderfully reimagined 15th century West Africa. Masquerade is a dazzling lyrical tale exploring the true cost of one woman's fight for freedom, self-discovery, and the lengths that she will go to secure her future. I absolutely love this cover. Ever since this has been out on like anticipated releases lists and things like that, it has been on my mind. I can't wait to get to this. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. The last kind of mythology retelling, I don't actually think that this is, but I've seen it on mythology lists and I haven't read the book, so I'm gonna try it and see if this is mythology. But it's called Guest and it's a changeling tale. So this says, when malicious sprites called the kind folk snatch Molly's baby brother and replace him with a hideous changeling, Molly travels through an eerie, perilous land to save him. So it's essentially a changeling story, which is why I want to read it. So I don't mind if it's not a mythology, but for whatever reason, when I was looking through some of like the bins that it was put in on Goodreads, it did say mythology. So I don't know. My bet is that it's not mythology retelling, but I'm intrigued regardless. Moving on to the manga that I have planned for this month. I am very excited because all of these series have been on my mind for quite some time. Obviously, I have the Lore Olympus graphic novels that I plan on reading as well, but the first that I have is Hat Atelier, which I have wanted to get to for so long. I have the first 3 volumes of this series. In this, you follow Coco, who is a young girl who wants to learn magic, but has always been told that witches are born, not taught. And somehow she finds out that that's actually not true, decides to teach herself. It ends up going bad, and it says, to set things right, young Coco leaves home, and so begins the tale within this tome. So we'll see what happens with Coco. I absolutely think that this artwork is stunning, and so I can't wait to get to whatever story lies inside. Next, I have Cat Massage Therapy. I also have the first 3 volumes of this, and this series, the only thing I know is that it involves cats and they massage you. I think there are different cats for different types of massages, and yeah, I'm curious to know how much story we can get out of cat massages, but I know it sounds super cozy and super cute, and I'm excited to get to it. Next, I have Cat Plus Gamer, and in this one, I will also have the first 3 volumes. I don't currently, I only have the first 2 volumes, or the second volume and the 3rd volume, but I'm waiting on the first. This has a gamer who gets a cat. It says, an office worker embraces her new role as a cat mom, and begins sharing superfluous amounts of cat photos on the internet. Rico can't help it. Her tuxedo baby is just too cute. Will her workers feel the same, or will it add to their bewilderment about her? So I don't know. Once again, it sounds really cute and cozy, and I need that in my life. Next is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I will also have the first 3 episodes or first 3 volumes of this as well. This one I just love. I love the synopsis of it. It says at Kamoma? I don't know how to pronounce that, but at Kamoma Academy, rumors abound about the school's 7 mysteries, one of which is Hanako-san. Said to occupy the 3rd stall of the 3rd floor's girls' bathroom in the old high school building, or the old school building. Hanako-san grants any wish when summoned, and Nini Yosharo, an occult-loving high school girl who dreams of romance, ventures into this haunted bathroom, but Hanako-san she meets there is nothing like she imagined. I don't know, it sounds really cute, and I like the fact that this is surrounding Japanese lore, and the fact that they do have these spirits that can attach themselves. I don't know if it's always to toilets, and I don't know if I'll find out in this, but it's definitely something I need to look into because it sounds hilarious, it sounds fun, lighthearted, so we'll see what happens. Next is A Cat from Our World and a Forgotten Witch, and this is about a witch who I think originally saved a whole bunch of people, but she's since been forgotten and has summoned a cat to keep her company, and the cat comes in huge. I don't know if the cat is supposed to come in huge, but I guess we'll find out. Another cozy read for me. Next is the Promised Neverland. And this one features some orphans, I believe. They live in an orphanage and I don't think they're allowed to go outside. It says Emma, Norman, and Ray are the brightest kids at Gracefield House Orphanage. They're under the care of a woman they refer to as Mom. All the kids have enjoyed a comfortable life. Good food, clean clothes, and the perfect environment to learn. What more could they ask for? One day though, Emma and Norman uncover the dark truth of the outside world they are forbidden from seeing. So this was recommended by Kirsten over at the Reading Nymph, and so I'm excited to get to it. Next is one I'm sure I don't need to introduce, and that is Spy Family. I actually haven't started this, and I know that this isn't the first volume. I'm still waiting on the first volume from the library, but this follows a family where I think the husband of the family is like told he has to get married and have kids, and like he's supposed to be a spy within that. I'm not sure. I'm kind of going in blind. I know everyone loves it, and so it's another one that I think I'm gonna absolutely love. And lastly, I know there's a lot of manga, but I am super excited about this one. This is Tokyo Ghoul, and this was also recommended by Kirsten. I am really intrigued with this. This says Shai Kanaki is thrilled to go on a date with the beautiful Rise, but it turns out that she's only interested in his body and eating it. That is, when a morally dubious rescue transforms him into the first half-goblin, half-ghoul hybrid, Ken must survive ghoul turf wars, learn more about ghoul society, and master his new powers. I think it sounds fantastic. I can't wait for it. Next are my other planned reads, and the first of those is The Wild Robot. This story sounds so cute. This is a middle grade. It says, when Robot Roz opens her eyes for the first time, she discovers that she's alone on a remote wild island. She has no idea how she got there or what her purpose is, but she knows she needs to survive. After battling a fierce storm and escaping a vicious bear attack, she realizes that her only hope for survival is to adapt to her surroundings and learn from the island's unwelcoming animal inhabitants. I've heard that it's really cute, and once again, I need a little bit of cozy in my life right now. Speaking of cozy, I also want to read To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. I know nothing about the storyline other than I'm pretty sure it's set in space because of the cover, and it's by Becky Chambers. So I don't really want to know anything because I think it's only like a 4 or 5 hour audio. It's very short, and I've loved everything I've read by Becky Chambers so far, and so I can't imagine that this is going to be a miss. I should tell you guys that the books that are on this other possibilities list do all have a purpose for Team Artemis, which is the team that I'm on. The Wild Robot has vegetation on the front cover, and the To Be Taught If Fortunate has stars on the front cover, which is a natural source of light. And so I am using these to benefit our team prompts for Team Artemis, just in case you guys are wondering. Next is The Rage of Dragons, and this one can be used for a weapon on the front cover. So this says, the Omhi people have been fighting an unwinnable fight for 100,000 years. Their society has been built around war and only war. The lucky ones are born gifted. 1 in every 2,000 women has the power to call down dragons. 1 in every 100 men is able to magically transform himself into a bigger, stronger, faster killing machine. I mean, it's got dragons. The next is The Full Moon Coffee Shop. This is a translated work, so you can use that for one of the prompts. This says, in Japan, cats are a symbol of good luck. As the myth goes, if you are kind to them, they will one day return the favor. And if you are kind to the right cat, you might just get invited to the mysterious coffee shop under the glittering Kyoto sky, or Kyoto moon. This particular coffee shop is like no other. It has no fixed location, no fixed hours, and it seemingly appears at random. It's also run by talking cats. I know, guys, this TBR is full of cats. And I love it. Next, I have a couple of horror novels that I want to get to in the month of September. That is Hell House, which is a haunted house story. That's really all I know about it. The original synopsis, when I read it, gave me chills, and I have been craving some haunted houses recently, and especially in preparation for spooky season. Speaking of spooky season, I also have The Haunting of Velkwood. This is one of my most anticipated horror reads of the year. I'm really excited about this. You have a town. I don't want to read the entire synopsis because I'm worried about spoilers, but you have a town that somehow in one evening, everyone in the town becomes a ghost with the exception of a couple of people. And so this town is like understudy. And I don't know, it sounds really intriguing. I want to know why this has happened and why the people survived. I'm excited about it. Next, I have The Eyes Are the Best Part. This is another horror, and this is about a female serial killer. I believe also the woman is a Korean American, so we get that perspective as well. I don't really know anything else about it. The cover is what drew me in, and eyeball horror always freaks me out, so I think this is going to be one that makes me cringe and perhaps is really scary, but we'll find out. And last on the list of other possibilities is 11/22/63. This is another Stephen King. I have only read the fairy tale by Stephen King. I know that this surrounds the JFK assassination, but that's really all I know. That's kind of all I want to know going in. So we'll see if Stephen King can impress me again. On to series September. So I have lots of options for this. I'm not saying that I'm going to get to all of them. Obviously, all of the continuations of the manga that I mentioned earlier in the video would count for series September as well, but I have some others that are on my list. I still have not gotten to The Burning Page, which is the third book in the Invisible Library series. I do really want to get to this. This is a series surrounding the Invisible Library, which is a library that is essentially a portal world that connects a whole bunch of other dimensions. You have librarians, dragons, fairies, ghosts, vampires, everything in your neighborhood here. It's a lot of fun. I also have The Grief of Stones. This is a standalone in a series. I don't know if this would count or not. It is, I consider the Goblin Emperor series a series, even though it's a series of standalones, but this follows a character in that world. So we have Maya, the Goblin Emperor, who was never supposed to be the emperor and kind of gets thrust into it. That's the Goblin Emperor story. I don't actually know which character this follows, and I don't want to know because it's fairly short, but it's set in that same world. Next, this is a pipe dream. This probably will not happen, but Demon in White, and this is why it probably won't happen, because it's freaking huge. I think it's like a 31-hour audiobook, but that is one of the prompts that I could use for the Goddess Complex is the longest book on my TBR or an intimidating read, and this definitely fits. But this is the third book in the Sun Eater series. I haven't gotten back to Hadrian Marlowe yet, and I would love to. If you haven't heard me talk about Hadrian Marlowe, it is a fantasy sci-fi series where you follow a character who is telling you about his story and how he became known as the Sun Eater. He's destroyed worlds. He has eradicated races, and he's known kind of as this infamous person in this space opera, and you get to follow his life and all of the things that happened for him to become this infamous person. I do plan on continuing with the Murderbot series this month. I need to finish, I think the fourth book is where I'm at. It's called Exit Strategy, so whichever book that one is. I also need to finish, like, obviously the rest of the series, but I'm going to start with Exit Strategy. This book follows Murderbot. If you guys don't know about the Murderbot series, Murderbot is a robot-esque AI combat bot that is used to help humans, and he has some differences amongst his peers because all he wants to do is sit home and essentially watch Netflix, and he doesn't really care about humans, and he tells you about it on his little adventures to protect these humans from some kind of dumb things that they're doing. It's been a lot of fun to read. I also need to continue on with the Stranger Time series, which is the third book in the series is Love Will Tear Us Apart, I think. So that one is following a newspaper organization that investigates supernatural events or events that might be supernatural, and they have to figure out what's happening. It's a really fun cast of characters. Definitely you can feel like walking into the newsroom with all these like crazy cantankerous people and lovely people and funny people, and I've really enjoyed the series. The next is The Wondersmith, which is the second book in the Nevermore series. So Nevermore is a middle grade series following Morrigan Crow, who is a girl that has some type of ability, and she's taken to a magical school, and you learn about what magical ability she has, and this is the second book in that series. So I would like to continue on with that. The last series that I'll say I would like to continue with is Codex Alera by Jim Butcher. I need to finish the third book in the series, which is Captain's Fury, I think is what it's called. And so yeah, those are all of my options for continuations of series and manga and mythologies and other reads I want to get to in September. And this is absolutely insane. There is no way that I'm going to get to all of these books in September, but a girl can dream. Let me know in the comments down below what books you are waiting to read in September. If you are participating in either of these readathons or any other readathons in September that you would like to tell me about, I would love to chat with you guys in the comments. If you aren't feeling chatty, let's leave, let's leave a moon or a planet in the comments if you've gotten this far. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.